to wait for the notification to arrive on my phone. And sometimes it shows up right away and sometimes it does not. And I don't know why. With that being said, we are live and we shall start in 5, 4, 3. Hey everybody, welcome here to today's social selling and auto retail webcast. This is one of 6 different webcast programs that we do every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central right here on our YouTube channel. And I appreciate you being here. As you can see, our focus today is on social selling and auto retail. What does that mean? Well, a lot of people might think it means selling in social media. Well, yes, we talk about social media, but this is designed for automotive sales professionals as a regular meeting place you can come to, network and collaborate and exchange and get new ideas that relate to the profession of selling automobiles to consumers. So I am Ryan Girardi. Today is Thursday, April 21st, and I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and you can say hello to my awesome co-host, Terry Lancaster. What's up, Terry?
What up, everybody? How y'all living?
Great to be back here with you. And our game plan for today, we got 2 segments lined up. We're going to start, we have a gentleman named Ryan Taft coming on from a company called StorySoft, who we are actually in the early stages of forming a new partnership with. And we're going to look at the StorySoft solution. It's a digital storytelling solution that brings a fresh new way of thinking for automotive dealers to connect and engage with consumers. And then after that, Terry's going to unveil his all new social selling Showdown. It's a virtual car sales training program that he has put together and is offering. There you go, right there. So that'll be the second segment. And we do have Mike Columbus back on today. Mike was with us last month, along with Bill Satry and Terry and myself. And that was a fun time. We got a chance to look at some TikTok stuff. I don't even remember what else we looked at. What did we do, Terry? Do you remember?
All I remember is Bill sitting in his hot tub. That's kind of scarred into my brain. I don't know if I got much else out of that. That's all I got, Ryan.
I did just put the comments up on YouTube. Here, let me share this. So what I do is I usually try to do this within a day or two, but sometimes it takes me a week or two. But I come in here and I leave these clickable time markers, and I don't know how it sorts by top. Let's see. What did we do? We talked with Mike. That's right, because he kind of gave us an update on things. And Mike, if you want to bring your camera on, hop on up here. Once I stop sharing my screen, you'll be here. And Ryan, you too. Ryan Taft, go ahead and pop your camera on so we can get things started. But let's see. We looked at how coronavirus was impacting car sales. So Mike can give us an update on that. We did a walkthrough of his click and drive utility on the dealership's website. We looked at how his website strategy compared from general outreach. So we got a little bit into his process. That was really good. And then, we talked with Bill Satry about his TikTok experimentation. So Mike Columbus, Ryan Taft, welcome.
Welcome. Hi.
How's it going, everyone? Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Greetings, y'all.
So let's get started. Ryan, we'll start with you. And folks, I should mention, if you're tuned into the live stream, I'm going to go check the live chat in a minute while Ryan is telling us about StorySoft. And I'll also put a link. It's in the description. If you want to hop up here on the Zoom and participate as an attendee where you can ask questions, you can raise your hand. We can turn your audio on. Look for the link in the description. You can hop right up here and be here on Zoom with us. But I'll be checking the live chat in a second. If you're on the recording, then obviously you can't get up here on the Zoom, but feel free to register if you like this program. So Ryan Taft, you're on your second venture, StorySoft. This is on top of OnSpot Social, which is a tablet device, which it's funny, when you came out with OnSpot, I want to say it was 2011 maybe, yep. Right? That was pretty cutting edge to put an iPad on the retail counter to collect text messages. Now you kind of expect that when you go to a retail outlet. But now you have a new toy, StorySoft, digital storytelling. I'm going to share my screen, but why don't you go ahead and give us the elevator pitch, the overview of what the program is and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having me. So Ryan Taft, CEO of StorySoft. StorySoft is a storytelling software company. Brands, marketers, they use our digital storytelling platform to break through the clutter, emotionally engage audiences, and ultimately boost acquisition, sales, and retention. So excited to kind of take you through the platform today. I'll start off just by explaining kind of how we view the world, how StorySoft came to be. I mean, really, in our opinion, there's really never been a better time to be a marketer. The internet, social media, mobile, it's made it cheaper and easier for brands to reach their audience with their message. But what's been happening over the last few years is that consumers are inundated with content and ads. And so, the big question becomes, how can you help your brand stand out, right? Break through that clutter. And as we started to try to, solve that problem, we came across the idea, kind of the concept of storytelling. And what we've, discovered is really that all those authentic, stories really help brands break through, because stories trigger a cascade of effects within the mind, really like nothing else can, right? Stories help to build empathy. They create that emotional connection between the audience and the brand. Not only can they capture attention, but they can hold that attention, right? As you move through the story, the ups and downs, the tension and the suspense. And ultimately, great stories drive action, right? They compel people's behavior. There's been studies done at the brain that show that when we're consuming stories, we're releasing dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and that's really what helps us to remember the messages. It's the reason why you can remember a line from your favorite movie that you haven't seen in 15 years, right? Story does that. And so what we've done is we've built a marketing platform around this idea of storytelling, right? So there's really three core components to the platform. We have a builder that allows, marketers to quickly spin up these digital stories. We've integrated different marketing technology, which allows you to share the stories across any marketing channel and track, where users are coming in from. And then ultimately, we built an entire analytics layer around those stories so that you can see how people are moving through your content, the messages that they're exposed to, and the actions that they're taking. And so I think, Ryan, you're going to share, an example here in a second. But the best way to really think about these stories, they're very similar to, social media stories, right? Facebook stories, Instagram stories. They leverage that format that consumers are comfortable with. It's a series of images and videos, animations that a user kind of linearly swipes through, right, to consume that content, similar to pages in a book, right, to create that engaging linear narrative. We've built this mobile first, but you can leverage it across any device. These are hosted on a URL, right? So they don't live inside of a social media platform, right? So you can build the content once on our platform, publish out a URL, and then you can share that story just like you would share a link to a website across any channel, right? Send it out to your users from in your email list, right? Send an email out, text the link out. If you're doing any print or signage, have a QR code. Let somebody scan it and then open up this digital experience. And then again, on the back end, we have built-in analytics, right? There's no third-party analytics that you have to, layer on to this. Everything is built in and integrated so that you can, start to understand what's working, what's not, and ultimately optimize that content to make it even more effective over time.
Let me share the current example up here. So folks, I'm going to go to our autoconversion.co, and under solutions is retail. And in here, you'll see a link for StorySoft. And if you follow that link, it'll open this up. Let's watch this. You can see it's 10 frames, and this is just a demo. This is all made up. I have to hit next, don't I? So the user, and Ryan, clarify, the user controls when they go to the next frame, correct?
That's correct. It's not auto advance or anything like that. And what you're doing, you're showing people how this looks on desktop, right? I mentioned that it's it's built mobile first. That's why you see that nice portrait view. And on desktop, you have the arrows, right? Ryan's clicking on the left and right arrows to navigate. On the mobile phone, right, all you do is swipe right to left or left to right to move from page to page to page and consume that content.
Yeah, you swipe with your finger. I think people call that Tinder style. Now, very simple, very elegant, right? I imagine a lot of thought has to go into, as simple as it looks, a lot of thought and creativity goes into this, something that an ad agency would be really instrumental for, right, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. What we're saying is, 95% of purchase decisions are driven by emotion. Yet as marketers, a lot of time we lead with logic, right? We lead with facts. We have landing pages, they're full of facts. And so what we're saying is, lead with that story, right? If you're running Google ads, drive them to an interactive experience that, creates that emotional connection between the brand and the user. And then at the end, we can have a call to action, which might be sign up for our email list or buy our product or service, right? So where we fit in is really between reach and conversion. And we believe that storytelling is the best way to increase those conversion rates. And to your point about kind of the simplicity, right? I mean, yeah, it definitely takes, people want short content that they can consume very quickly, right? So you see, only a couple words per page. That example had 10 screens. We've seen a sweet spot between 7 and 10 screens, right? So that somebody can swipe through this, get exposed to your messages in 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah. And Mike and Terry, if you have questions or want to chime in, feel free. Here's what I think is important is when you publish to social media, you get different analytics, but I don't think with stories you get any sort of analytics as a brand. But you can see on your side the drop-off rates, the behavior, the time, conversions, and all that stuff. I mean, that's powerful having those analytics behind you.
Yeah, and it's all built in, right? No third-party software required, no having to hook it up to Google Analytics or anything like that, right? It's integrated right into our platform. You see there that retention report, it's that first report, and basically, you can start to see the drop-off, right? So as a marketer, you want to be able to look at reports and instantly understand what they're telling you, right? What are those insights so that you can, utilize those insights to optimize your campaigns, either that existing content or future content. And so our analytics do that. You can see how people are engaging. You can see what messages they're exposed to, what actions they're taking. You can see where they drop off, right? If you have a 6-page story and you see that, you have a big drop off between pages 3 and 4, right? But after page 4, like the people who get through page 4, you see that they're going on to, complete the story and actually taking action, right? So you can see that, in that retention report, that big drop. So you instantly know, what, I need to focus my optimization efforts on the content for pages 3 and 4. You can hone in on that specific, set of content and say, okay, if I can tweak the messaging, if I can maybe change, a video for a still image, will that get more people to move through pages 3 and 4? Because I know if I get them past 4, the majority are completing, right, and taking action. So, we provide, the right types of reports. So you're not sifting through all kinds of analytics to try to figure out, what's working, what's not. We try to pinpoint that and provide you with those analytics so that you can make those optimizations.
Good stuff, Mike. I'm curious what your reaction to what you see is.
As Ryan was speaking, I was thinking a lot of our last meeting where we talked about TikTok, and so I do have a couple questions for Ryan and the stories that you're creating. Would you say that you're more on the side of the analytics of the story or more of the story creation side?
The platform does all of it, right? So 3 core components, right? We allow you to build. We have a builder. So you can upload assets, add your content overlays, and then publish out your story, right? So it's very quick and easy for marketers to spin these stories up. We have different campaign tracking. So that if you're sharing that story on email, you can set up a campaign in our system, publish out a unique URL, share that on email. Then you can tell everybody that's visiting that story from that specific channel versus maybe LinkedIn, right? Or Facebook. And then we have the analytics that are wrapped in so that you can go into the back end and see how people are engaging with your content. So it's an all-in-one solution.
So Ryan, do you see perhaps a home for your product in a TikTok type of platform?
Not really. We're not really competing, against, the TikToks of the world. I would say that we can plug into any channel, right? So, the big thing about social media is designed to keep users on their platforms. They don't want you leaving, right? And as a brand, it's great because you can reach millions of people, right? But you're also competing with every other brand and every other person that's posting content, on those channels. And then you have no access to first-party data, right? I think first-party data is another thing that's going to start to get, talked about more and more as, GDPR, CCPA come into play, and a lot of these, third-party sites where they're tracking cookies and things like that. Marketers aren't going to be able to leverage that to personalize, their ads. They're going to need to collect that data for themselves. Social media, you can't get that information. What we're saying is, use those tools, use email, use social media to reach your audience with your message, but then drive them to a StorySoft story, right? Where you can engage them outside of that confine. You're not competing for attention anymore. And then you can start to collect, those analytics and that data on your audience, and then house that yourself so that you can utilize that information in the future as well. So, there are pros and cons to both. We're not trying to replace anything. What we're saying is, build the content with us and then share it on any channel that you're using to reach your audience with your message.
So Ryan, how does an individual salesman like myself find you and begin working with you?
Yeah, so I mean, we're leveraging a lot of those same channels, right? We're out there on social, connecting with brands and marketers. We have, our website, storysoft.io. There's a free trial where you can, basically sign up, no credit card required, and you can start building your stories immediately, right? So you sign up for the free trial, you get access to our builder, and you can start constructing that. So as a salesman, imagine if you had a number of stories that, as you're having conversations with people at a dealership, that you could text them, about a specific vehicle, or you can send them an email afterwards, right, about that vehicle. So there are a number of ways that, marketers, salespeople can leverage the tool. But in terms of finding us, again, the best place is probably, our website.
Good, thank you.
Just to clarify, because from my understanding with StorySoft, it's more of a corporate solution, not something you would make on the fly. Has that changed, Ryan? Is there now a builder you can make quick stories on the fly at a low budget?
Yeah, so I mean, it's both, right? We work from anywhere. We work with large pharmaceutical companies, retail, CPG. But we actually just did. We worked with somebody who was driving donations for a nonprofit, a cancer nonprofit. They were fighting childhood cancer, and she came in. She built a story basically around why she's going out there and why she supports this nonprofit. And then at the end, she was asking for donations, right? And so we had a call to action button at the end of the story where people could click through and land on her donation page, right? That story saw a 15% conversion rate to donation. Wow. So 15 out of every 100 people who visited that story actually made a donation, right? And as you guys know, as marketers, right, you just don't see those sorts of conversion rates. So big brands, use it. But as individuals can use it as well. I mean, a couple of years ago, everybody was talking about building your personal brand, right? So individuals could come on here and create their own story, tell people, their story, and share that out, on social media. So it can be used kind of across the gamut.
That's cool. So it's really evolved. So just for final closeout here, from a budget and cost standpoint, what should companies or marketers expect?
Yeah, so we're a SaaS platform. We have a SaaS model. It's a subscription model to the platform. We have our pricing up on our website, and so people can check it out. We basically have 4 tiers, right? So we have, at the larger end of the spectrum, we have a custom tier, right, where people that have specific requirements, legal requirements, security requirements, big pharma, right, big financials. We have a custom tier that we can work with them on. But as an individual or a small brand, that's looking to kind of get their feet wet, start testing out, we have an $89 a month plan. It's called Essentials, where they can start telling, stories. It gets you access to, kind of the core essential features. We then have our standard plan. It's the most popular. That starts at $199 a month. And then we have our professional plan. It's $599 per month. And again, each one of them, unlocks, a different set of features. But, so really we've kind of set this up so that brands big and small, can come in, get started with it. And then obviously if it works for them, they can continue to graduate up the tiers, as needed.
Great. And I think thinking down the road, you have these integrations and whatnot. So I'd love to circle back around at a time in the near future and get into some of the granular aspects of this. Terry, you've been quiet. Did you have anything you want to add or ask?
My two big takeaways, though, were first of all, stories are the currency of human interaction. Every human interaction and relationship is based on story, so it all boils down to story. Story sells always. And secondly, the big thing I got from what Warren was talking about was the importance of keeping things short. I mean, we are a short attention span theater these days. Everyone's on everything on 6 million different devices, so it's harder and harder to do any long form thing to share that content. So I love the fact of getting this story into 7 to 10 frames and 10 to 15 seconds, I presume. So
absolutely.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much taking the time, letting us know. It's good to kind of get back in the room with you, and I'll do a quick wrap up for folks here, but thanks again for being up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the time, and so Mike, Terry, Ryan, thank you for having me.
all right, thanks, Ryan.
Good to meet you, Ryan.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
And Ryan Taft is not in the car business, so he'll want a bump. But just to put some closure to that, if you go to the solutions section of our new website, autoconversion.co, and I just put a link in there. If you go to retail, it's actually under both retail and B2B, but you can view that sample story that we just showed right here, and there's a link to the website. And be sure to let StorySoft know that you're referred by AutoConversion, so they can give you a special value package. All right, so Terry, we're going to move to you. Real quick reorientation. You're here on our social selling and auto retail webcast program. This is one of 6 different auto retail marketing related webcasts that we do throughout the month, basically every week, every Tuesday. See here, there's a calendar link. Every Tuesday we have an auto retail related session, and today we're in the social selling. It's streamed live on YouTube. Once the live stream ends, the recording does become unlisted, so you need a link if you want to access the recording. And the best way to do that is to be subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that way you have links to all of the programming that we do on our YouTube channel, both around automotive and within mobility and transportation as well. If you want to be up here on the Zoom with us to participate in the Q&A, ask questions with the things we're talking about, I did put a link in the live chat. It's also in the description. You can register and you'll immediately receive your access to Zoom. And once you do that, you'll automatically be able to participate in any of our upcoming sessions that we have. All right, Mr. Terry.
What's up, brother?
That's pretty cool, huh? You like that?
I do. It's been like I love the graphics. I love the short storytelling feature. That's pretty nifty. So,
Ryan's he's a progressive thinker. Like I said, he launched prior to that with a couple partners, the idea of capturing email and cell numbers and getting Facebook fans or social media likes and stuff right there at the countertops back in the early days. So, yeah, very cool. All right. Social sales showdown, virtual car sales training. What's going on? Tell us what's the deal?
Dude, well, I don't know much about much, but if I know anything about anything, it's about working at home in my underwear. I've been working from home in my underwear for 20 years, and everyone else who just kind of joined the new lockdown party, welcome to the party. I've been doing this so long. I've got an ankle tan where my ankle bracelet goes from house arrest. So with everything that's going on, I train salespeople on using social media to build better relationships and to get more reviews and referrals and repeat business. And a lot of the social selling that I talk about, like Mike Columbus is there. It involves going out and meeting people and shaking hands and kissing babies. Well, now the going out, shaking hands, meeting people, and kissing babies part has been cut back dramatically. So I built the social sales showdown to show people how to do that more virtually over the internet, over social media, over video marketing, over the telephone, over podcasts just like this, all the ways I've been keeping in touch with my customers for the last 20 years. And now salespeople are starting to do that more and more. This all got real important really fast. And so what I've done is I put together this training that kind of melds the gap, bridges the gap between motivation that doesn't last and then regular training that never gets put into place by talking about creating habits to do these things. And the way you create habits is to make it fun, to offer a reward system, and turn it into a big game. So we've turned this all into all the training into basically a reality show where you're going to be competing through challenges, social media challenges, and friendship, relationship marketing challenges to earn points each week and to eventually earn a prize. So, and I said at one point, it's like Hollywood squares in your underwears, because everybody's on the Zoom now where you got 5, 6, 10 different people all in squares all around there. So we're basically playing a reality show for cash and prizes while we're learning how to make friends and sell more cars.
Mike Columbus, did you know anything about this new program coming into today?
I saw some of Terry's advertisements for it, wanted to learn more about it. So this is great reason to be online now.
Okay, good. So I'll let you hit him up with questions. What I would like to add, I had mentioned yesterday, for my B2B marketing hacks webcast, the focus was on what's the next frontier, because everyone now is doing not just webinars. That's been outdated for a while, but online panel discussions and online mastermind groups and, all these Zoom virtual events and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, like 6 months ago, that was still, you were able to stand out. Now you can't. So I think what you're bringing to the table is just refreshing, progressive, right? It's experimental. And I love the logoing, the way you're presenting it too. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and training is hard work. To go into a room in front of sales, I go into rooms of salespeople all the time and talk about the stuff that I talk about, including meditation. So you ever want to feel like you got two heads, step in front of 30 car salespeople and talk to them about motivating, about meditating for a little while. So that's tough. Now imagine doing that over video camera. Video training is much harder. Is much harder to keep people's intention and engagement over video. So if you're trying to get them to change their actions, to change their daily activities, to make positive changes in your life, that's harder to do over a platform like this. So you're gonna have to, to boost up the engagement, to boost up the interaction, to get them coming back through the screen. So you get any kind of interaction at all. That's the only way to engage people over the small screen like this. Yeah, if you're trying to train people over a small screen like this, the same way you stand in front of a group and just kind of rattle off stuff with a PowerPoint, they're not going to last. Everybody's going to drift off into the phone and do their own thing. So you got to boost the energy.
Mm-hmm. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just want to see what were some of the plans on how you're going to do that. I jumped off briefly to try to look for a website. Terry, do you have a website for this?
Yeah, the website for it is terrylancaster.org. terrylancaster.org. That's the training that it's going to talk about. And every training is different. We have this set up for individuals and teams, but we're going to talk about at the simple level, make more friends, sell more cars. At the simple level, you and I've talked about this a million times, Mikey.
Right.
Friends, connect with more people, connect with people in your local buying area. But the truth is, your local buying area has been expanded because of all this. You're in Washington, but now with delivery, I've got people who are selling cars all over the country because home is where the customer is. The store is where the customer is. So you have to be able to interact and engage with them no matter where they are. And that starts with making Facebook friends. It starts with sending video messaging. It's talking putting video, Facebook Lives on Facebook, but it's beyond Facebook too. It's really any social platform. I talk about Facebook a lot because it's the 800-pound gorilla, but I know you've started on using LinkedIn. Any way that you can connect with your customers, whether it's Facebook or TikTok or email or video messaging or a text on the phone, we have a million ways to stay in contact now. And like I said, I've been doing this forever, been working from home, and the key to it is keeping your face and your name and your information in front of the customer. And if your customer is 5,000, 3,000 miles away, like a lot of mine are, you can't take them to golf. You can't go shake their hands. You're not going to see them at the BNI meeting on Saturday. You have to be able to develop that relationship and earn that trust through digital interactions. And those are the stuff that we're going to be doing.
Gary, tell me if you agree with this, but I see coming a major shift out of the showroom and into the digital world, being more social. I don't see us going back to the normal showroom sales mode for salespeople. The
model's definitely changing, and there's always going to be some dealers. There's a pew for every butt, right? So there are going to be some dealers who only do it the old-fashioned way. That's the way they've always done it. That's the way they're going to do it. And then you're going to have dealers who go 100% digital. They're all in on digital retailing and push button and buy the car and delivery car with practically zero human interaction. To me, the sweet spot is in the middle, when you can combine the ease of and touch and one button access to buying and delivery, and make it as easy as picking up your phone. And you also have a human relationship on the other end of that phone to help you with that process, to make it more palatable for you. So you don't have to come in and fight the dealership for 4 hours, but you do have a friend, whether it's a friend in real life or a friend online. You have someone you trust to help you and make sure when you push that button that it's a good place to go. And trust is the key. I just did an interview on the Get You Some radio show with Greg Potts, who delivered his first vehicle, who worked his first deal 100% digital, 100% online, delivered the car to the guy. And he's pretty excited because now that opens up new markets for him. But the main thing he says, the whole thing is the whole key is trust. I have to be able to build that trust, and before I could earn it when I shook their hands and when I looked them in their eye and we had that warmth. But I have to build that trust now over the phone, and because they have to trust that when they push the button that they're going to get what they thought they were going to get, because they didn't actually see it. They don't actually know you. So the trust is the key, and that's what I teach, is the ability to build that trust and maintain that relationship at a social distance from 6 feet away or more.
It's an important subject that you're bringing up, Mike, about the transactional, the shopping and the transactional experience. Last week during a panel, the focus was that the more informed shopper buys more and spends more. They're a better customer the more informed they are. And when it comes to car shopping, there's a lot of information that that a consumer has to process and understand, right? And so it's not realistic. Before the internet, you really didn't have a choice. You could read consumer reports, but you really had to go in and talk to the dealer and get information. And I think back in the day, pre-internet, what was it? You were visiting 6 or 7 dealerships to buy a car? What's that?
So yeah, it was 6 or 7. It's down to 1 point something now, right?
Right. And that's because we can get all this information going. And so by the time we're ready to do the transaction, we already know what dealer we're going into. And I think to your question, Mike, is, are the sales going to go back to being in the showroom? And it's a speculative question, right? It's a speculative conversation. But as DMVs starts facilitating more electronic processes, as franchise laws start being more electronic and digitized, and we weed out that paper. I mean, I just talked to a dealer right before we got on this session today, who said in Florida, I think it was Florida, they are now able to execute 100% of the transaction electronically right now, And so as that becomes the shopping part and the transaction part, and both will become quickly less and less friction, and as we see that, over time, it'll be more realistic to, probably not be there in the showroom.
The deal is that people used to go to the customers because people used to have to go to the showroom because of lack of information. So
Yeah.
lack of information isn't the problem anymore. Matter of fact, the problem is there's too much information. So the big problem for the consumers is separating the information from the noise. And the big problem for the dealer and the salespeople is breaking through the noise with the relevant information. So the internet has changed this, but we have to still have some kind of way to break through that noise to give them the information that they need to make it, because too information, it's the tyranny of choice. You get bogged down with too much information.
And then I'd like to jump in and say, with people now looking on the internet and digitally shopping, our social presence has to be spotless. So what Terry's doing is just so important that we have a presence. It's a spotless presence. And as you mentioned earlier, Terry, that customers can build trust with what they see from our presence online.
100%.
Your training, Terry, I imagine, like, you can't, what's its focus going to be on? Is it custom tailored to the individual, to the dealership? Is it?
Well, if for the dealers, it'll be custom tailored. We'll work specifically we'll focus on building the daily habits that they want to see in their sales team. So at the dealership level, it'll be 100% customized. At the individual level, if an individual comes on, we'll have each group that is going to be on increasing their social presence, on adding friends on Facebook, and on using video messaging. We'll probably customize it. Everything will go through weekly, but the main focus is adding more friends, because that's the basis of it, is using social media to build this army of buyers who know, like, and trust you before they've even met you. So that's day one. Add more friends, make more friends, sell more cars. So many people talk about everything you're supposed to post on Facebook and all the things you're supposed to do on social media, but if you don't have the connections, you're screaming at an empty room, man. You got to have somebody to talk to, or you're just flapping your jaws.
Now you've got people signed up for this now. When are you starting?
Yeah, we're gonna start the first one next week. So we'll get up and rolling next week.
Okay, and how many people do you have on the first round?
We haven't finished setting it up yet. Each one is going to be five. Each one we're shooting for 5 to 10 in each group, and then for the training, we're at a dealership level. You can have multiple groups, and you'll end up with one group competing against another group. So they'll be competing in their individual group, and then the red team will be competing against the blue team at the store level.
So there's one-on-one or individual competition, but then there's group level competition.
That's right. So each training session is 30 minutes long, 30-minute training session. So we'll have a training session there. Each member will be competing in that. And then if that is set up as a group, it'll be competing against other groups from the same store for the same group or wherever. And then there'll be another layer of prizes above that for the winning team.
So what's the frequency? Because I know you said it's a 4-week program. Is it
once a week for 4 weeks?
Once a week, 30 minits. That's it.
We have 30 minutes a week, once a week for 4 weeks.
All right.
So what time of the day will it be?
Well, we're going to have, if we're doing all custom ones, we'll, like I said, for dealers, we'll set it up for any time the dealer wants to do it. The first one I've set up for Fridays at 11 o'clock. But I'm going to have several of these running, so we can set it up most any time. So if you want to do one at a certain time, give me a shot. Let me know. We'll find some other folks who want to do some at that time too.
And it will be a group of people on one meeting, or one-on-one.
Yeah, no, a group of people in one meeting. So we'll go in each meeting. We'll do a quick training about what's important, what the challenge is going to be for that week, about why that's important, what the benefits are of it, how to do that. And then we'll set up the challenge for the week. So if your challenge is to create a Facebook Live video, if your challenge is to send more video messages, so send a video message to your mom, we'll go through and set it up, talk about the whys, talk about the hows, and then go get her done.
Cool. So here's the deal. Let me go back to here on our site. So first off, you can go to terrylancaster.org. I put the link to it in the live chat. And if you register, early bird is $50. But if you miss the early bird, when's early bird end?
When the first 3 tickets are sold for the group.
Okay. So you can also enter the promo code AutoBurst and get that discount as well. So when you register for social selling and auto retail, again, this is every 6 weeks. We're going to have Terry back in 6 weeks after he's completed his first round, and hopefully, Terry, I think we should get your participants as well, get you all up here, and we can, everyone can share in that experience.
All righty.
But I'll put that link and information up here on the landing page here for you to get that discount. Mike, if you have time, I'd love to get an update from you on the car biz. I had your website up. I can bring it back up. The one that we weren't able to get the last time, but what's going on in Seattle in the car biz with you?
So sales have stopped. Our showroom is closed. We have caution tape up between the service department and the sales department. We can sell a vehicle if it's an essential need, meaning it's someone who is a first responder, or if their car has been totaled, or if they're coming out of a lease. So,
So these are Washington restrictions deeming car sales only if it's essential.
yes. Yeah. And we've had secret shoppers. We've had the Department of Labor warn us a few times. So, the penalties are pretty severe. A dealership could lose its license, and that wouldn't be a good thing for sure. So,
is that why inventory is not showing, or is that a different issue?
What's that?
Is that why there's no inventory showing here, or is that a different issue?
No, no, they haven't put the widget on there yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're working on it.
So what does that mean for you? Like, what do you spend your time doing knowing that you can't really sell cars?
So the dealership is using its click and drive feature, which is a widget on our website, only contacting customers once they've contacted us. So if they've initiated the process, we are not soliciting business. I'm working Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. If a customer's on the lot, we're not permitted to talk to them. We're even ignoring them. So it's been difficult for us. And from what I'm seeing from my friends throughout Washington, I think we're all in the same boat.
So, so you've got your widget up. Can you drive traffic to the widget?
We can. The biggest hurdle right now is people want to test drive a car. And so even as we move forward out of this COVID-19 situation and we get more and more digital, I think we're going to have to figure out how to handle the test drive portion of the sale.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing is offering 3 days to return the vehicle, but you have to purchase the car first. And it has to be delivered at the customer's home. And so currently we're taking a finance manager and a salesperson to the customer's home, doing all the paperwork with them, with the finance manager outside, handing the paperwork in a file to the customer, who takes it in their house and signs it, brings it back, and then the salesperson delivers the vehicle.
So you're not doing any test drives at all for anything?
No, none at all.
Yeah.
Haven't been since mid-March.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna put a bite into it. So
I find this just outright outrageous. I mean, I get it. We got to stop the spread, and we have stopped the spread, and we can't relax on that. I totally get that. But to make it so that you are restricted from putting people in a car.
And people are buying cars right now. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence from different parts of the country where things are opened up a little bit. I know people are selling a lot of cars, especially last weekend. A lot of stimulus money hit, and everybody had money for a down payment. And so there were a lot of cars bought over the last week in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
Mike Phillips is on the live chat, and he said the same thing. He's in Colorado. It's by appointment only. But Mike, I'm curious, Mike Phillips, as Mike Columbus just said, it's not just by appointment only. It has to be an essential need, an essential need. And who determines that? Who determines if it's an essential sale or not?
Ryan, you may answer our store.
Like who at the store, or who determines that it's permitted sale?
At our store, it's the customer who signs an affidavit that it's an essential need. It doesn't describe the need. It's just an affidavit that there is an essential need.
Holy moly. Mike Phillips, if you want to get up here on Zoom, I don't know if you've registered for social selling before, but I'll get you the link real quick. That'll generate your Zoom access. Hang on one sec. So is there any end in sight as far as you know, Mike?
Well, the governor of Washington has said May 4th. We're hoping that sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, I had a question to you about your BNI groups. What are your BNI groups doing to meet and stay together?
BNI has gone totally Zoom worldwide.
Is that right?
So yeah, we're on Zoom Wednesday mornings, 7:30.
All right.
How long is the Zoom session?
An hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Everyone gives their 1-minute commercial, and then everyone gives a testimony. We still have speakers, all on Zoom.
How many people?
My group has 26.
Wow, you get through 26 people in 90 minutes?
Right. Yep.
Wow. I was reading some information from a trusted source. Let me go dig it up real quick. Hold on. So as of today or yesterday, some states are starting to open up some services, like some access, right? Starting to allow certain things to be opened back up. I think between now and the end of the month, around 29 states will. Let's see, on the 19th, so that was 2 days ago, Kansas started lifting their stay-at-home orders. Indiana and Mississippi on the 20th. Today, Alaska, DC on the 24th. Missouri, Wisconsin, and on the 26th. Surprisingly, New York's listed in there for the 29th. That'll probably change. Again, all this is subject to change.
Tennessee's letting theirs elapse whenever it elapses, sometime at the end of the month.
Yeah. And then the other question is, what will they start permitting? I got to say, if they start permitting, like athletics, like sporting events, then dealerships better be opening too.
Yeah.
At that point,
I don't think we'll have sports the rest of this year.
Yeah, that's
You
the one thing.
don't think there'll be a football season, Mike?
What's that?
You don't think there'll be a football season?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm interested to see. All this, like I said, all this got real for me when I couldn't go to Vegas, and then when they canceled hockey season. So, it's time for playoffs to start. So I'm starting to see reminders and memories from past playoff seasons. So I'm a little bummed about hockey right now.
Yeah.
It was real for me seeing Vegas shut down. That was quite frightening, actually.
Yeah, I can only imagine the Strip. It would be like the zombie apocalypse, just a deserted town. Mike, I mean, look, I'm trying to keep a pulse on where states are at. I feel like from what I know, Michigan is the only state that's on full lockdown, like can't even sell cars.
No, Michigan can sell by appointment only now.
So they loosen it up a little bit. Good. But obviously Washington, man, that's got to change.
Yeah.
What are some things you can do in the meantime? I mean, or do you just kick back and relax? Do something.
I've never been one to kick back and relax. So A couple of things I've been doing to keep my social presence, calling customers, see how they're doing, just let them know that I'm here if they need me for anything. I've done that quite a bit. I try to have a list of customers I call. Doing whatever I can at the dealership. I'm going in Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, doing what I can. So I was kept on as an essential employee. And then learning through Zoom, webinars.
A lot of learning. What are some things you've learned in the past couple of weeks from what's out there?
If I can, here's one posture and position I've taken personally, and I'll share this with you, Terry, because you're doing the social marketing thing, is don't take any sides politically or whether we should have bans lifted, not have bans lifted. I think we should stay out of all of those arguments. They just breed frustration and controversy. I've stayed completely out of any posture in that regard. I've seen it with my BNI group. I have a few members in my chapter. I'm the president of the chapter. Some went to a rally at the state capitol to fight the ban. And then others chimed in of how they're killing everybody. And so it just breeds frustration and distrust just to get involved in all that stuff. So if I could just say one thing I've learned is to stay completely neutral with all of the politics and the posture, one side or the other.
Yeah, the truth is I've been heavy on social media for 10 years, and you would have trouble going through my timeline and figuring out what my politics are. It's just not something I talk about. And I remember that from a young lady, Laura, I can't remember her last name. Laura Toyota was what she was going by at the time I've seen her speak. And
Laura Madison?
Laura Madison, that is exactly right. She said that. She said you go through her timeline and you couldn't tell what her politics were. You can go through my timeline. You have no idea what my politics are because I don't talk about it.
Right.
So Mike Phillips is trying to get up here, but I don't know if he's registering with the wrong link. So Mike, we're going to wind it down anyway. We're coming on an hour. So let's do that. But Mike, obviously, you know how to reach us. If there's any information I can get for you or any resource or anything, man, just let me know. I'm happy to help. If you want to get a group of people together and work on something in a format like this, happy to do that as well.
I'd be happy to help Terry out in any way I can. Terry, I think you've got the right idea.
Well, like I said, this is I was watching a TV show the other day, watching the Ozarks, and they said this line: "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And this is a huge crisis. But there's enormous opportunity. There's enormous opportunity to connect with customers, connect with other human beings, to build something for what's next. Who knows what's next? We don't know. But the only way to build something for what next is to keep struggling and keep pedaling with what you got right now. So keep pedaling, everybody keep moving, keep the wheels turning, and let's come out of this and see what we can do on the other side.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, find a way to help your brother, help your neighbor. All right, Mike C, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Ryan.
Another Mike up here, but it's because of Mike Phillips on the YouTube.
Mike.
So thank you, folks. You tuned in here to our social selling in auto retail periodic webcast series. Again, this is one of 6 different programs we run every Tuesday at 2:00. So get subscribed to our YouTube channel, press that bell icon for notifications, and that'll let you access any and all of our live streams. And you'll have a link to access the recordings if you want. And each of them requires their own one-time registration. If you do that, such as on this one, then you'll be able to be up here on Zoom with us and interact with us, and you'll automatically be invited back for future sessions. And there's a calendar link so you can see all the different programming that we have. And thanks again to Ryan Taft at StorySoft, and Terry Lancaster. Good luck with the social selling showdown program.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck, Terry.
Thanks, guys. Y'all be safe.
We're going to go ahead and take this offline. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for the Mobility Tech and Connectivity Show. I got Graham Line and Alan Cooper coming on from PIM Insights. We'll see you tomorrow.